Hey everybody, it's Wisp. I'm filming today on the 13th. It's the day that we just got the trailer for Fire Emblem Engage, and I have to talk about it. It takes me a little bit to edit these videos. I'm working and doing it on my own, so of course I take some time. Sorry about that. Hopefully this isn't too out of date in the next couple of days, because I do want to post it early. But I've gotten a lot of thoughts about it. I didn't film this right after the trailer because I've kind of been talking about it with a few friends, because there's a lot that went on in it, and it brought up a lot of conflicting emotions with a lot of people, myself specifically. I was very happy with it, very nervous about it, and very upset with a couple of things, minor things. So, I guess I should just rip off the band-aid. I've been saying, and you may have heard me say in other videos, that I really want to do away with Avatar protagonists, and we're obviously getting one again with Alir, I believe it is. So, obviously, off the bat, that was a disappointment to me, something that kind of let me down. But I don't think that's going to make the game bad. It's just a feature that I didn't want to return is returning. Other than that, it does seem like we'll get a hub world, but Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes did a lot to sate my fears for what a hub world is. Because what I really wanted, and my biggest problem with Three Houses hub world, was that it was so large, and when you were fast traveling, you could only fast travel to a room. It was harder to get to specific units, or if I just wanted to eat, I'd have to travel to the dining hall and then go and find the person, and it wasn't that costly as far as time goes, but it slowed down the game a lot. And if you want to do all 4 routes, then after the first time, honestly, after the first half of the game on your first playthrough, it starts to be very repetitive. The other thing that Three Houses did a lot of is a lot of walking around the monastery to do quests, and some of them were skippable, some of them were a little more important. So I think that those things were improved upon a lot in Warriors by dumbing it down. I don't think it needed to be that complicated. It's also an accessibility issue. Fire Emblem was a really popular game franchise for blind players, as in people who can't see, not as in people who like to go in without knowing things. And, well, probably both, but... And Three Houses Monastery feature, I saw a lot of blind people at the local deaf and blind community that were struggling to play it because of that, and that was just kind of sad to me. I know not every game is easily accessible for a lot of people, and it's especially bad when one that used to be a franchise that used to be is kind of taken away in that sense. So those are the things that I'm not a fan of, and I'm hoping that this game, because it does seem to have a very fancy hub world, I'm hoping that it's like that, where if I want to, I can just fast travel and memorize the menu like that. Or maybe there's even a mode where you can, yes, I can go and I can walk to the kitchen to cook, or I can fast travel to the kitchen to cook. But why can't I just press a button that says cook from the home menu without needing to find all of the NPCs? So, that's something that I'm hopeful for still. It's still possible that we get that, or at least the Warriors fast traveling version. Those were the things that really let me down in that sense. The only other thing that bummed me out about it is the mural shows up, right? And we might only get those 12 characters. It seems like we will, because the storyline of this game is these heroes saved us in the past. So it kind of seems like the ones on the mural are the emblems. Why are if there were more, they would be on the mural. If they aren't on the mural, they probably don't exist. And we're not getting Chrom. And I mean, I'm in the middle of moving, so I don't have all of my merch on full display right now. But Chrom's kind of my guy. And I've said that in the past too with CYL and stuff. I have a bias for him. And so it sucks that he's not going to be in there. And it's confusing because some of the other replacements they made a lot of sense to me. And the Chrom one doesn't. So that's just kind of a bummer. I'll get over it in time, and then when the game comes out and I play it for the first time and I can't use Chrom, it'll sting really badly again, and over time I'll get over it again. But it is just kind of something that's on my mind. And luckily, Chrom was kind of one of the main figures in Warriors 1, so I did get the 3D model for him, so I at least have that. It's a really good model, too. They honestly should have just ported that exact same model. But it's like, weird to me that he's not in. I mean, KT started their relationship with IS by making Crom, so why not put him in? And I know it's because Lucina is always, like, even in Warriors 1, and then in her legendary ult, like, she uses the bow. They could have used Crom's legendary, but the bow came from Lucina basically anyway, so I get it. I do have another theory on why they might have chosen Lucina, other than just gender ratios. And hopefully it's not just gender ratios, because if it was, then they could have just used female Byleth instead of male Byleth, and it would have been 6 men and 6 women again. But I'll get to that theory later. So now I want to get into the things that immediately I saw, and they had me jumping for joy, which is most of the other things. So I'm kind of just going to go through the trailer in order now. And everything pretty much was positive from here on out. So when the game first gets announced, one of the first things we find out is that our continent has a name, Elios, which is standard for Fire Emblem. There was like one major game that didn't have it, and I like Fates. It's not my favorite, and a large part of it is for that reason. I don't feel connected to the world, and now that's not going to be an issue. So I think just having a name for the continent shows me that there's going to be a level of world building that will connect me to the world and keep me grounded in it. And I know there are like obvious crazy things that aren't grounded. We have people that can transform into dragons, or someone who is a dragon. We have rings that can summon people. I don't need to be realistic, I just want it to be grounded in itself. And by having a continent name, or a world name, or whatever Elios actually is, it feels grounded in itself. It feels like there's rules here, and there's a world, and there's going to be a story about the world. If nothing else, there's already a history, because this isn't the first war. The emblems already saved the world. Alright, so then we get the map of the world. Not my favorite Fire Emblem continent design, because this continent is a circle. It's a peninsula, I think. I think it's a peninsula. It might be an island, but it's a circle, and it seems kind of hollowed out in the middle, and then there's another island in the middle of it. And from the map, it looks like it's kind of in quadrants, where they're sort of like, this area is foresty, this area is dark, this area is deserty. Not my favorite way to handle a world design, and this is just the first mural, so it might not be totally accurate. It might be kind of exaggerated, or a beta design, or poetic. Maybe once we play the game, this will actually be some sort of poetry that I don't understand yet. So far, I don't love the world design, but the few looks that we get at the map design looked amazing to me. It looks like villages are actually back, but maybe it's some sort of a similar feature, and I'm a fan of that. And the maps look different and exciting. It doesn't look like the same few maps have been ported over, and we've only seen a few, so it is possible that some of them will be, especially if there's going to be grindy maps or EXP maps. But when you get like Awakening, that one had a grindy EXP map, and it was DLC, but it was not just the same reused map over and over. I think one of the big things with Three Houses that was upsetting was that not only was the map kind of reused all the time, but different maps had similar layouts, and it was always just route the enemy or defeat the boss. We're losing these creative win objectives. There's no proof that's back at all, but this game has the feeling to me that it will be, so I'm very excited and hopeful for it. We get a shot of the overworld, or the overmap, when we're actually controlling each character. And oh my gosh, it is the most beautiful thing I have ever seen, other than Crom's 3D model in Fire Emblem Warriors. Legitimately, the map, their models look amazing. It reminds me a lot of Path of Radiance, Radiant Dawn games from the GameCube, and Three Houses had this too, because it was on a Switch, it was on a console, where it had the 3D guys on the overworld, but I don't know. Something about Three Houses felt very, to me personally, very different. It felt weird to me. I love the game, but the map didn't just speak to me, and this one just hits me, and I don't know how to quantify that or how to explain it, but when I saw that map, I was so excited. And this cast of characters, I don't know them yet. And I might not like them as much as Three Houses, because Three Houses had some deep characters. But I'm very hopeful for them now, just because of the map sprites. Or the 3D map portraits, I guess. The other thing that I really liked is the predictive text that you get. Ever since Awakening, I think Awakening started it. That might be me misremembering. But when a unit is about to battle a unit and it shows here's how much damage it'll do and all that stuff, they're 3D now, so the units are actually kind of moving a little bit. And the monster design, the Corrupted, is kind of cool looking. That's important to me, that the generic monster that we're going to fight 20 times, I want them to look appealing or look cool. And to me, they managed that. I think this one looks cool. Okay, so those are some great things. But in the same little clip, there's a shot where it shows everybody's weapon, and you can see that it doesn't look like Alir has Marth equipped at the moment. I think it might be on Vander. Alfred has Sigurd, and I think Cecile has Celica. I think her name is Cecile. Well, it's going to be embarrassing if it's not. But anyway, I don't believe that that Alir has Marth equipped at the moment. But the image of who has a ring is kind of a cool little image to remind you that that unit is there, because they're not on the map, but they're physically present for the map area, and I think that's really neat. The thing that had me actually almost jump out of my chair watching the direct, that's not true. I was on a treadmill. I was watching it on a treadmill, and I lurched forward. I was not in a chair. But the thing that had me freaking out the most was there's a girl, and I think she's a thief. And I think that we saw her when it was showing all the 3D characters, and they were kind of moving around, and we got a little feel for them. And she very much, absolutely, clearly had gauntlet weapons. It showed a fist icon there, which is the gauntlets. And I have just published a video recently about how important I think gauntlets are, and how they should come back to the next game and to Heroes. And now they're coming back, and they can come to Heroes because there's going to be more characters who use them. Now they're going to be in 2 games in a row. Fire Emblem cuts stuff all the time. So 2 games in a row doesn't mean it's a staple. It can still go away. But it's not going to be just a 3 houses thing. We got 3 houses, 3 hopes for the spinoffs, and now Engage. So pleased. I love that a lot. I'm beyond excited for the gauntlets coming back. This is my new favorite unit. Except Chloe has an interesting design. Alfred looks cool. A lot of these guys I'm excited to meet. I really hope gauntlet people are awesome. And then there was another thing that I noticed later. And this one actually almost broke me as well. But Vander. We see Vander, and it's weird for me because Vander's on a horse, and then because Vander's on the horse, and Xander's also a really powerful horse unit. Completely different personalities, I'm sure. I love Xander, so that's not a diss. It's just, I doubt they're going to be the same person. But Vander is a paladin / cavalry, and he's level 1. He's a pre-promote. He's the Jagan, but there's a Jagan. And if he's a pre-promote, this isn't definitively true, but I think this means each unit is only going to have 2 or 3 classes. I think we're done with the whole everyone can be every class thing. And I think that was great for 3 houses, but 3 houses was a different game. They were at the academy, they were learning, and they could change, and they could adapt. I think people might kind of get this is their own class. And it's not going to go as deep as I want with personal classes. I know that much for sure. I will get into what I want for personal classes in another video, so stay tuned if that's something you're interested in hearing. Because I have big plans for what I think personal classes could mean. But I'm excited to have this back. I feel like it adds so much personality to the characters, and fun to the classes, and strategy to the classes, in my opinion, that to me this has me really excited. Just the concept, right? We have set classes again. Some leeway, some freedom, that's fine, but overall set classes, and I love that. So these were packed, these trailers. This 3-minute trailer gave me so much to think about. Now, Marth being back for an actual story role. Not sure how I feel. I mean, to be honest, I don't care for Marth. Respect where respect's due, because he was the original Fire Emblem Lord, and I love the franchise, so there's a certain level of He's mad. He's important for that. But when it comes to storylines and his personality, I just am not a fan. But honestly, if they used, so if they used Crom, I'd be happy, right? Because Crom is my favorite, and again, I have a bias. If they used another popular character like Ike, I love Ike, but bringing him back means they need to make the story fit him, but also that they need to make sure his personality fits everything that's happening. So this is going to give me another chance to get behind the Marth hype. And honestly, I hope it works. I hope that after this, I change my tune and I'm a huge Marth fan too. And if not, then, maybe the other characters can carry the story, which is really what I want. Whichever characters, because, Sigurd was getting a lot of spotlight, probably because Genealogy is getting a remake, different concept. But maybe Sigurd and Celica will play into the storyline as well. Maybe all 12 will have some role. However much whoever plays into it, I really want them to believe that the modern cast can carry the story, and these guys can be background and backup for the major fight scenes or something. I think I've said what I need to say about that one shot for now. Dragon Child, our MC is going to be Dragon Movement, but we know that the main character is a Divine Dragon from the trailer. It's kind of weird that being an avatar is almost synonymous with that. Chris and Shez weren't, but Robin wasn't the main character, but he was a Divine Dragon. Corrin, first avatar main character, was literally the last full dragon, or half dragon, but could actually use dragon form. Byleth is not a dragon, but Sothis is something akin to a dragon, and Byleth and Sothis have that connection. And now we are literally a dragon again. It's just such a funny thing for them to make a recurring theme that being an avatar is like being a dragon. Kieran's not for heroes, so there's that. Anyway, it's not the worst thing. It's kind of cool that we have a dragon movement type. I like that it reminds us what the movement type of classes is, especially if we're going to get more classes that are not always present, not always available. I think it would be nice. Those are my initial impressions, and I think I'm going to have to throw in my most controversial one. I like the Toothpaste Lords. I think they look cool and appealing. I think it's cool. I actually, in motion, think that the male main character looks cooler. But we haven't seen a trailer yet for the characters chosen. It was definitely done for weapons balance, even though they changed what weapons some people use, gender balance, and then some popularity, right? Like, why pick Elowood when you can pick Lynn? There could be more, but it kind of just begs the question of why wouldn't they be on the mural if they were there? So, we'll just have to see where the story goes with it, what happens. If it was truly made to celebrate the 30th anniversary, then only having 12 characters makes sense. You get them from all the ranges, like every game, but some of the characters that are absent don't make sense to be gone from an anniversary title. So I kind of think there might be more somehow, but there's no reason to believe that. It's kind of like evidence points to no, but all we can do is see where it goes, and I'm excited to do that. This game is going to be amazing. Even if it's not like the best Fire Emblem story, we're getting a new mainline Fire Emblem game. And then Genealogy is probably coming next, which is what everyone has been wanting. By everyone, I mean me. I don't know what you want. I don't know what anyone else wants. I'm an individual. I only know my thoughts. I'm going to record another video today. It's going to be Fire Emblem, and I'm going to be wearing the same shirt. When you see it, please don't freak out. Thank you, everybody, and until next time, I cannot wait to continue seeing where this game goes.